Let's go live. Hello, my friends. How are you doing this amazing evening? I hope you are having an amazing week. And I've got some really cool things to be talking about in this conversation this evening. So, if you're just checking in, please tell us where you're checking in from. And if you are watching this live or a replay, always want to know where my friends and family are checking in from. So, this whole conversation about is who is your hero? And I did this exercise that I'm going to share with you tonight. Well, kind of. I did this exercise in a class that I taught at the beginning of this year. Actually, that was one of my classes that, yeah, it was a challenge that I did really, really well with. And that's why I've been doing the ROI Accelerator Challenge, is to teach people how I did what I did at the beginning of this year. But the course that I taught at the beginning of this year was Mastering Potential. And I asked people, who is your hero? Right? Like, so go ahead and type in who is your hero before I get into why this is important, because we have these different levels of development. Okay, the first level of development is our imprint years. That's 0 to 7, right? This is where 75% of what we access in our entire life, this is where it is we are imprinted inside of us, right? And then that's 0 to 7, and then 7 to 14 is our modeling years, right? And then our 14 to 21, or 14 to 21 is our socializing years. So who is it that you are modeling, right? And why are heroes so important? Because who is it that you are measuring your life with, not against, but with, right? Like, if I wanted to play golf, who would I go watch to learn how to play golf? But see, this is the thing that a lot of people don't get. It's not that they don't get it, it's understanding that um, we haven't been taught how to take things in context, right? We have been taught and conditioned and indoctrinated to look at things through the eyes of duality, which means if I have a character trait that is not in alignment with what you think is a good person, you will throw the whole person out with the bathwater. Kind of like what something happened in these last, well, I won't go there. A lot of people voted because they didn't like the personality and not looking at the effectiveness of what was being created. Just a thought. Okay. I just had this conversation with my mom. And so, what is it that determines if you like somebody or not? Right? I have several heroes: Grandpa Superman, Joel Bauer, you, my best friend. That's awesome. So, why is this important? Is that because there are certain things in what you perceive that are identifying things within yourself, right? And what I mean by that is, if you look at an actor or an actress and are like mesmerized by their talent to be able to create these characters and make their characters so believable, what is it about how you perceive them that is captivating to you? Well, that's what this conversation is going to be all about, because we we as a society has been conditioned to believe that it is arrogant, self-righteous, whatever, to think highly of ourselves. But yet we have been conditioned to believe that putting ourselves down, making ourselves feel guilty, playing less than, playing small, that is honorable. To be offended and to have expect the whole world to change so that I don't be offended, that is how we've been conditioned to believe. And see, friends, as long as we think that way, our outer world is always going to control our inner world, right? So, my question, okay, so you have these heroes. What are the characteristic traits of why that person or being or whatever is your hero, right? Like, one of my heroes is Batman. Why do I like Batman? Is because Batman is a self is there, he doesn't have any superhuman powers, and he's fighting for a cause that ended up taking his parents' life. And he's got really cool toys. Like, I love cool toys. He likes black. I love black. He's very mysterious, and there's a lot of things about Batman that I like. The other one is Yoda. Yoda is one of my heroes, right? Because Yoda is Zen, like, and he's just this little dude, and he's just powered up. Like, that little boy, that little critter, that little critter can do some work, and he commands mystery, right? Like, there's just stuff about Yoda that's just like, wow, this dude is amazing. He's got character, he's integrous, he's fighting for a greater cause, he's wise, he's a great sage, right? Another one, oh yeah, I named my son after Val Kilmer when he was Wow, yeah, Val Kilmer was a good Batman. Another one I have is Neo, right? Like not, Morpheus, not Neo, Morpheus, right? And the thing about Morpheus that I absolutely love is that, again, he is a guide. He is the one that calls Neo forward. He believed in Neo before Neo did, and because of that, he was able to get Neo to believe that he was finally the one, because Neo had to go fight for Morpheus because Morpheus believed in him so much. Morpheus was willing to put his life on the line, right? And that goes along the lines of, one of the greatest compliments I've ever got was, you would take a bullet for somebody, and I would, right? It's so, looking at these different characteristic traits of your heroes, what is it about your heroes that really, really speak to you? Because the reason you see them in someone else is because they are in you. Or, well, they're in you wanting to be called forward. Either you are stepping into them now, currently, or you are, that is something that you, um, that is something that you aspire to be down the road, right? So looking at, okay, and this is what's really important, and this is where I was going with context, is to be able to put things in context. Now, one of the things about Batman that I wasn't a big fan, of course, one time I was, is like how he was with women. Like, the guy always had women around him. There was a time in my life like that. I thought that was pretty cool. Not anymore. Yeah, one's enough. Right. You know, and so it's being able to look at things in a way that looks beyond the lens of duality, right? Because there are some amazing, like Martin Luther King Jr., and I'll just put this out there. I was watching this gal on TikTok, and I'm going to say some things about her that might rub some people, but there's a point that I'm saying in this. She was very, very, very overweight. She was a Black African American woman, very, very overweight, tons and tons of energy around what she was saying. And what she was doing was, she was annihilating Martin Luther King Jr., right? Like, how can we call this man a leader? How can we call him a good man? How can we do all these things that we say about Martin Luther King Jr. when he cheated on his wife? And I was like, wow, that's interesting. That's really, really interesting. Here is a man that was a catalyst to be able to create, giving you the opportunity for you to be a Black African American woman and say what you're saying on a platform freely. Like, that's what Martin Luther King was able to do, because of his mission. Now, do I endorse the fact that he did what he did? You know what? I don't know. I don't know what he was going through, right? And see, what we do is we'll find one characteristic trait about somebody that doesn't agree or align, or that we get to judge, and we'll throw that whole person out with everything, right? Because we are not in touch with our own inadequacies within ourselves, right? And I've said this a bunch of times, that one of the lines that changed my life, this was one of the lines that was responsible for changing pretty much everything in my life. And that was, live a life that demands rigorous honesty. Okay. This is the thing that stops most people from transforming, is they're not willing to get rigorously honest with who they are, because they have to get in touch with how they hold their darkness. Right. And so, and it goes along with what Napoleon Hill said after an interview. And 16,000 people, the thing that surprised him more than anything was how people's inability to get honest about their inadequacies. Our inadequacies are our greatest opportunity, right? So until we get in touch with our own inadequacies, we embrace them, we understand them, we accept them, we transcend them. We don't have judgment about them. We understand that all this part is conditioning and choices and different things that we've done in our lives. Right? We're human. We are called humans. Once we are in that place, then we're able to extend our own humanity to somebody else. But until we get there, what we are going to do, we are going to project our wounds onto other people. And people, the media loves annihilating people. They love it, right? Because that's what gets more ratings than anything else. Now think about, why do they get the ratings? Because most people aren't willing to take responsibility for how they live their lives. They would rather sit in front of a TV. I'd have nothing, like, I watch television, right? But I'm very clear, it's television. I do not watch advertisements. Everything I watch is recorded, so I can fast forward through the advertisements. I don't watch drama. I don't watch, I watched Curse of Oak Island and Ancient Aliens. I love it. Like, it's thought provoking, right? That's pretty much all I watch, in racing stuff. But I say this because if you don't understand how you are perceiving your life, because what you perceive is literally an agreement within yourself, right? And what how did I hear that today? I was listening to this guy channeling and I was just blown away. Your expression becomes what you manifest. Your expression becomes your experience. That's what it was. Your expression becomes your experience, right? And so if I'm going to pick out, judge, assume somebody else, guess what? My subconscious thinks that I'm talking to myself. It does not understand the distinction between myself and somebody else, right? So this is why it's important to focus on the characteristic traits of your heroes. Now, you might have some heroes that you weren't even aware of, but because of how we hold them, we're not able to see the characteristics that can be part of supporting what it is that we want to create in our life. Yeah, so my heroes have integrity, are generous, thoughtful, kind, imaginative, love unconditionally, and brave, right? Well, the reason you have that, April, is because that's what's inside of you, right? And see, it's looking at what does kind mean to you? What does unconditional love mean to you? What do all these words that we use, what do those mean to us? Because we have unconscious and subconscious meanings that we attach to these words. And until we're clear about, like for me, one of the questions I've asked myself many, many times, what does it mean to love somebody? Right? What does it mean to support somebody? I asked one of my clients this today. I said, what does it mean to you to support somebody? Because this person was having some issues with her mother. And I asked her, she goes, I want to support her. And I'm like, okay, cool. What does that mean to you? Like, what does it mean to literally support somebody? Because if you don't know what that meaning is, then what you're going to be is you're going to be susceptible to taking on what somebody else made it mean for you. Right. Again, this is why we look at who are our heroes. Why? Like one of mine is Maximus Aurelius of the movie Gladiator. Gladiator is one of the movies I've seen more times than probably any other movie. Why? Because he fought for integrity. He fought for Rome. He fought for what was right. And because of that conviction, he was able to take down the villain, right, which was the king's son, and being able to stand in glory, right? So for me, there's a definition of a man that I took on a long time ago, and it is assume 100% responsibility. It's reject passivity, lead courageously, and look for the greater reward, which is the greater reward for humanity, right? And be committed, like be clear of what it is that you're committed to. And that has been the result of some of the trainings that I used to do, that I modeled other people that really exemplified what it is that I wanted to create in my life. So I want to ask you some questions. Who is your hero when it comes to fitness? Who is it that you would love to model in the context of being fit? Who in the context of relationship would you like to model? Now, this is what's really, really important. Not so much about the persona that a lot of people put out there, because we are in this age of social media and we think that we know somebody based on how they show up on social media. That is a very skewed perspective. Like that person is not going to get in there and talk about how they're talking to their spouse. Most people aren't even aware of how they show up in their lives until they start asking. This is one of the questions I started asking my clients is go ask your significant other if they trust you. And what areas of your life do you show up in a way that makes them not trust you? Right? Like these are powerful questions to get people to give you authentic feedback, because we have this persona that I'm good, right? Everybody's getting along to get by, and we're not fighting, we're not killing each other. Life's good. Life is not designed to be that life. Life is meant to be challenged. Life is meant to step out into the unknown. It's meant to get intentional about what it is that you really want to create, right? So looking at who do I want to model fitness wise? Who do I want to model relationship wise? Who do I want to model spiritually? Who do I want to model business wise? And looking at, so obviously for me, I think Tiger Woods is a phenomenal golfer, right? I would not want to model his strategies around relationship, right? Now, me knowing what I know, it's obvious that what happened to Tiger, like his dad dies, his world fell apart, right? He went into great, 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 great suffering. And when you're in great, great suffering, you want to grab onto anything that makes you feel good. That's called addiction, friends. Like I've struggled with all kinds of different stuff of addictions. But and then guess what? His back starts going out, right? His support was gone. His dad was gone, right? And now it doesn't matter what level you play at, these deep, deep subconscious programs are going to come up somewhere, right? So looking at, putting it in context, Tiger Woods, phenomenal golfer, phenomenal golfer. In fact, I watched this documentary that he did. I think it's called Play the Game. He seems to be a pretty decent dad. Like, he really seems to love his kids. But again, I don't know. I mean, you can make somebody's life look however you want to make it look on TV, on behind a video, right? Um, Physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, business wise. Like, what are the things, like, who are the, I don't like using the word guru, but who are the gurus that really speak to you? And when they speak to you, you have this tendency to remember what it is that they say, right? Hey, Facebook user, I don't know who you are. I wish it, but thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well. Like, what are the things that you want to model? And if you have something to clarify who it is that you want to model, then you get to start looking at what is it that you get to be, right? Because when we get intentional and have a focus on the person that you want to be, then you start asking yourself and assessing yourself, is what I'm doing now aligned with the person that I want to be down the road, right? Like relationships. If you find somebody, I have not found too many, to be real honest with you, relationships that exemplify the type of relationship that I want, right? Saul, dude, it is so good to see you. Or Sal, not Saul, Sal, my bad. So good to see you, man. Reach out to me. I'd love to connect with you. Merry Christmas, brother. It's good to see you. So looking at, what do you want in a relationship? Right? Do you want passion? Do you want connection? Do you want adventure? Do you want fun? Do you want peace? Do you want calm? Do you want security? Like, all of these different aspects of when it comes to what you want in a relationship, and then asking yourself the question, am I that person that's going to attract that? Because as I said, what you express becomes your experience, right? What we perceive is an agreement to our inner world, right? And yeah, friends, I like, wait until next year. Like, all the stuff that I'm going to be bringing next year is going to be mind boggling. Like, like, like everything I've been preparing for 50 some years is here. Like, I am here. It is time to pull the levers and start bringing out some of the stuff and what we've got going on. In fact, I have not put that up yet. Spiritual growth. Absolutely. Show that. So the ROI Accelerator Challenge, right? Like, there is some amazing, amazing things that are happening there. And the people's lives that are part of it have had extraordinary breakthroughs, relationship wise, financial wise, business wise, creation wise, spiritual wise. Like, there's just a lot of stuff that's happening in the ROI Accelerator Challenge. And I'd encourage you, friends, if you are in a place that you want to find out what is possible for your life, and if you want to find out how to step into your greatness, if you want to find out how to be able to leverage your time and use the things that you have been conditioned and developed and things like that within your life, and be able to use it as one of your greatest assets, then you want to check out the ROI Accelerator Challenge, because it's all about remembering who you really are before you are conditioned to believe whatever it is that you believe about who you are. Like, I literally show people how to rewrite their past, right? Because if we're not able to rewrite our past, what we are going to do is we're going to what they call proception, not perception, but it's proception. And that literally means I am going to project out into my future a result of what has happened to me in my past. And if you want it to change, then there's some things that I can show you that will literally show you how to redesign your life on a level that's unquantifiable, right? The O is in the ROI is to optimize, like learning how to optimize every single domain of your life. Because friends, if you're not clear on what it is that you want in the different domains in your life, guess what? You're in confusion. And when you're in confusion, you are burning up a ton of unnecessary energy. You are not operating effectively and efficiently. And what that does is it's going to keep you in a constant state of desperation, because you're burning up so much energy. It's just like going to a grocery store when you're hungry, right? You do not make very effective choices when you go to the grocery store hungry. Why? Because you're in survival mode. Your body is taken over, right? So that's what the optimized part is. And one of the things that I show you how to do in the optimized thing is literally, it is the one thing that I have shown myself and my clients that has literally, some clients it is 10x, like big time. It has way more than 10x what it is that I make once I got clear about what it is that I want to do. Because friends, understand, where you put your focus is going to expand, and your focus is your life force. And where we put that, we can literally become subject to that. And so it's very important for you to get clear on what it is that I want to create, and then getting everything aligned so that you are operating efficiently and effectively, right? And then the I out of the ROI is learning how to influence yourself so that you can stand in superhuman states and be able to create what it is that you really want to create. And then out of that, being able to influence other people. We've all heard you got to have a message to market match. Okay, cool. Got it. But the message, 93% of a message is unconscious. It's nonverbal, right? And unless you know how to communicate in a way that captivates people, it's going to be very, very challenging for you to enroll anybody into different areas of your life. And it doesn't matter if you're selling a widget, a product, a service, or a spouse or a child. It doesn't matter. We are always, every single conversation that we are having, my friend, every single conversation we are having, someone is enrolling somebody else, right? Like, I want you to be enrolled into my victim story so that you feel sorry for me, because I was raised in an environment that the only time I got attention is when somebody felt sorry for me. So therefore, I have created all kinds of strategies that make people feel sorry for me. But see, when somebody's doing it, like, I got a PhD in this one, like, everything I talk about has been my own journey, right? Is understanding that in doing that, we are telling somebody else to take responsibility for something that's our responsibility, right? But again, what are you wanting to enroll somebody into, right? Like, I want to enroll everybody into believing that they are extraordinarily amazing and that they can do what way beyond what they believe is possible, right? I want to enroll people into that you can change your beliefs and expand your beliefs, and that you can literally be the thing and become superhuman and heal whatever it is that you want to heal in your life, that you can become financially free and wealthy and abundant. Like, that's what I want to enroll people into, right? And because I know what I'm clear about, that is how I show up in every area of my life. That's influence. Influence is being able to get somebody to enroll themselves into their greatness, right? Way different than persuasion. Influence is being able to call them forward. So I go back to the question when I asked you, what does it mean to support somebody? What it means to me to support somebody is to call them forward. And I am willing, and anybody that's worked with me one-on-one or group coaching or whatever knows this about me. Excuse me. I am willing to do whatever it takes. And sometimes that might be being very firm. Sometimes that might be being absolutely silent. Sometimes whatever I feel at that time is going to call that person forward, I'm willing to go there, right? Because I've had people walk out of a restaurant on me. Like, I met with a mentor one time. I was in some breakdown in my life, and he said, I'll meet you at this restaurant. And I went and met him and started telling me stuff to do. And I was being very egotistical. I was being disrespectful to him. I wasn't honoring who he was. And he got up and he left. And he said, I got the check. Don't worry about it. Don't ever want to meet with you again. He was calling me forward. Like, I've had mentors hang up on me because I was sitting there on the phone going, I know. And then they'd hang up on me and say, I'd call him back. I'm like, dude, why'd you hang up on me? It's like, because I can't coach you if you think you know everything. Right? That's calling me forward, right? Because our ego loves to get in the way and keep us from really seeing what is possible and being able to, because it wants to protect all the programs that it's created, right? So you learning how to influence yourself and being able to stand in your greatness is one of the gifts that you could ever give yourself. So if you haven't signed up for the ROI Accelerator Challenge, do so. It'll be starting again. Get on the waiting list. It's going to be coming again at the latter part of January. I want to do everything I can to support as many people to make 2023 their best year of their life, friends. 2020 was a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call. Get people, like, we all, not me, but there's a lot of people that spend 20 years, whatever, working a corporate job because they want security, right? 2020 changed that game. It changed that game. So I want to do everything I can to support people, not only to create what it is that they want to create, but also understand what your biggest expenses are, right? Learning how to create a home-based business is one of the biggest tax shelters that you could ever create. Friends, we spend up to 56% of our income on taxes. You want to do every single thing you can to get as much leverage out of that as possible. And I teach all this in the ROI Accelerator Challenge. So I appreciate you being here. Hope you're having an amazing week, and I will see you again on Thursday. Till then, my friend, much love, and as always, live like your life depends on it. And I appreciate each and every one of you being here, commenting. Sal, super awesome to see you again, brother. And I will see you all Thursday. Much love. Take care. Be blessed.